Unstoppable Confidence 60 Minutes. Today, I'm going to share with you so much on the power of your mindset, your belief systems, and how we can really utilize it to start being the author of our lives and not get so caught up in being the book. And I'm going to explain to you guys all what that means today. So I am so excited. You can feel free as we go along. Please put popcorn questions. So whenever you have something pops up as a question, pop it down below in the chat. And whenever I catch it, I'll try to answer it as I go. Now, also, make sure that you do have a pen and paper or something to take some notes as we go along today, because we will be doing a live workshop at the end. I will be in live helping you all make some rewiring happen. So it's going to be super exciting. So pen and paper is definitely needed for this. And without further ado, let's all jump in here, Sage Family. So first and foremost, before we dive into the goodies, I want y'all to do something for me. Okay. So I want you to start off with saying a statement that aligns with you, something that you know. So if you're a mom, I am a mom, right? I see Victoria. I don't know if that's your little one there. So cute. But if it's a mom, right? If you're a mom, I am a mom, right? Or if you do a certain career path, I'm a manager, like I'm a manager. I want you to just say that statement that already aligns with you. Okay. I'm a grandma, right? So when you say that statement, it feels aligned. It just flows, right? It comes natural to you. Now I want you to say something along the lines of, I am a confident person, or I am a fit and healthy person, or I am someone who takes care of myself. Okay. I want you to say that statement. Now, when you say that statement, right, of I am a confident person, I am someone who takes care of myself, does that resonate the same, or is there blockage there? So when you compare it to something that you already know what you are, right? I am a mom. That resonates easily. That just kind of flows through you because you know. But when you say the statement, I am a confident person, or I am someone who takes care of myself, whatever it may be, does that flow the same, or is there a little bit of resistance behind it? So when it comes to this, I want to share with you here is I want you to imagine it like this, okay? What I want, so let's say I want confidence, I want the health, right? So we say these statements of what we want. When that resistance pops up, that is a limiting belief or a fear that is not in alignment with where you want to go. So think of it like this: your heart, yourself, your true self, your authentic self wants to go this way. It's like, I want the confidence. That feels right. That feels natural to feel good, right? But when we say it and that resistance builds up, that resistance comes out, that is because there is some sort of wiring, some sort of programming inside of us that does not actually align with our authentic selves of who we actually want to be. So we're going to dive right into all that here today. Now, did you know that Harvard researchers, this is the power behind confidence, everybody. This is the power behind our mindsets. You know, so many of you are here because you followed me for weight loss and health and building your bodies. And I will tell you that the number one thing to make a change in your body, it starts within the mind. And I teach all of my clients who are all here today, y'all can vouch for this. It starts with that mindset. It really does. And crazy enough, Harvard researchers actually found that self-confidence was a stronger predictor for success over intelligence, which is mind-blowing. But what this means for you today is that you're not stuck and struggling because you're not good enough or not smart enough to figure out, or these people that you see who are where you want to be, they have something special or anything. It's none of that. The reason why we're stuck where we are is because there's got to be some sort of, if we've been on this path for a while, we put in the time, we put in the reps, right? Of course, it's not going to happen. We didn't put in the time. But if we're putting in the reps, if we're putting in the time, we're putting in the effort, but we're still stuck, it's because there is a belief missing. Okay. There is an underlying belief or fear that's taking over and gripping onto us. Because when you 100% believe your goals are going to happen, they happen one way or another. When your goals, when you have a certain desire that is so important enough for you, and you genuinely believe that you can do it, nothing will stop you. Okay? Nothing will stop you. So, moving down. The agenda for today that we're going to be diving into here, team. I see y'all connecting in the chat. Let's go. The agenda today would be number one is I want you guys to all write down in the chat, in the Zoom chat, is what do you wish to get us today? What called you to this training here with me today? Right? What called you to this training here today? What is it that inspired you to join this? What is it that you really want to get out of this training today? And we have to have intentions. You have to have intentional action, right? You have to know what it is that you want. You got to be, because the cool thing, we'll talk about this later on, is that your brain will actually filter out what is not serving it, and it will filter in, focus in on what you're actually wanting. So I would love to hear in the chat, what do you wish to get out of this training today? And I'm going to share some of these ones that's popping up here. So Kelly mentioned she wants to learn more about her old limiting beliefs. Okay. Marianne wants to develop a positive mindset and deal with the here and now, present. I love that. And Victoria wants just that desire to change. And how? Beautiful. Beautiful. Heather wants the inner strength. She wants the inner strength. I love this. So good. So good. Okay. Write the intentions down. Next things that we're going to go over is what is confidence and self-belief, what kills confidence, why do some of us struggle with low confidence, and how do we build unstoppable confidence and actually rewire our identity. So like, how does it all work? We're going to go through the whole A to Z, and then I'll also end off with a Q&A at the end today. So first and foremost, everybody, what is confidence, right? When we talk about it, everybody talks about it, but what actually is confidence? Here's a few statements. Confidence is self-trust. And it's knowing your true potential as a human being. Okay, it's not even knowing, it's remembering. It's remembering how powerful you actually are in this world. Okay, confidence and self-trust is your authentic self. It's being the most comfortable you can be with yourself. So, for example, right, when you're going out to a public event, one of the best things that you could ever do for yourself is instead of looking at everybody at like the comparison game and as a hierarchy, because that's what our natural animalistic brain does, right? Is we compare ourselves. This person's younger than me and they look this way and they're stronger. This person has more muscle. This person da 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 da. Right? We naturally kind of filter things out in a hierarchy standpoint. It's just how we are. But that's always a losing game. Because I'll tell you right now, there's always somebody doing something better than us in one area or another. So we're constantly playing a losing game, and we're automatically lowering ourselves when we play that game. Okay. So the better way to do it when it comes to confidence, just a side note rant, is how can I be the most comfortable in the room? How can I be so comfortable in my body, in myself? That's the key, right? You ever see somebody walk into a room before and they're just so comfortable in their own, right? Their own little style, their own way of being, and they kind of got this glow, and you're just like, why do I feel like I got this mask on? Like I don't feel that comfortable. Like what is that? I want that though, right? I used to obsess over this so much. It's why I'm here today sharing this stuff, because for me, when I first hit puberty when I was younger is actually when I first became extremely insecure in my body. And through bullying over the years and just the people around me putting me down, it just kind of built this I just kind of dug my hole deeper, right? Of not feeling good in my skin, hating on my body, not having good self-respect, and just trying to follow other people because I didn't really have a sense of myself. So it's kind of sparked this obsession in me because I saw all these other people, they're confident, they looked like they're feeling so good. And I was over here like, why? Like, why do I feel this way? I don't like this. So the next thing with confidence is that it's feeling fear, but knowing that you can move past it, not letting it freeze you, right? Moving past it. Confidence is something that will change your entire life. I can absolutely guarantee that. I can absolutely guarantee it. When I built confidence, I can remember the day I did. When I started actually building my confidence and becoming a confident person, it changed every single thing in my life got better. Every single thing in my life got better. And I truly stepped into becoming the author of my life and not getting stuck as the book, playing the same story of who I didn't want to be. This younger Khaden who was low confidence, who didn't believe in himself, who just felt so off, so alienated in himself because he didn't feel good enough to be himself. So When you have this confidence, I can tell you, people can see it, they can feel it, and so can you as well. So Farah's intention today is she wants to strengthen her confidence doing this through this hard time in her life. Beautiful, Farah. Beautiful. So, team, what kills confidence? What kills your confidence? Instead of feeling it, what actually kills it? Number one of the biggest confidence killers is not sticking to your promises. You got to be very careful with your words. And that also ties into the expectations that you have for yourself. Because one of the worst things that we can do is not sticking to our own word. And I always use this example where imagine if you're going on a date with somebody, maybe it's your partner, or maybe it's a stranger, whatever it may be. You're going on a date and they tell you, hey, meet me at the movie theaters at 7 p.m. You show up at 7 p.m. and they're not there. And then they do this to you 5 more times. Do you think the next time they ask you, you're going to go? No. What changed? You don't believe in them anymore. You don't trust in them anymore. Why? Because they didn't follow through on their word. And that's why we can't do it to ourselves, guys, because we're stabbing ourselves in the back. We're telling ourselves, hey, I don't trust in you. I can't rely on you. Yeah, I know I want to change, but I'm not following through. And at the end of the day, only we know that. Only we can feel that. So you want to be very careful with your word. Very, very, very careful with your word. Okay, because the last thing, and this is something that I take so serious in my life, is I never want to break the promises I set for myself, the word I set for myself. Because I know how much it hurts, right? If other people do it to you, it sucks. It doesn't feel good. It's the same thing for doing to ourselves. Next is environment. Okay, the next one is environment. People who don't value you. Okay, people who do not value you and see your actual worth for how it is. This is one of the biggest killers. And this is why community is so powerful in the surrounding yourself around people who you want to be like. I went to this event in 2024, this mastery event around all these people, and I walked out of that event like 3 times better of a person. Simply because I put myself in a room around these other people who are the way I want to be. And I kind of experienced how they thought and felt about themselves and how they showed up on a daily basis. Automatically made me feel so much better. So environment is not just people though. Okay. Environment is maybe it's the culture you're around, the work culture, right? Is your work culture or the family culture, whatever it may be, what is the standard? Ed Milet's very famous guy, motivational speaker as well, talks about the inner thermostat, right? We all have an inner thermostat. Sometimes your environment has that thermostat as well. And let me ask you, does your environment, is a thermostat a higher one that you're trying to raise that standard beyond, or is it trying to lower you down? Okay, it's like the crabs in the bucket. One crab is trying to get out of the bucket. What do the other crabs do? They always bring it back down. They always bring it back down. The quickest path to failure is to hang around people nonstop who have nothing that you want, because they will naturally influence you, because how we are as humans is we are herd animals. We want to fit in with the tribe. That's why if you do have a friend group or family or something that's not aligned with the goals you have, it's very challenging. Okay, it can be very conflicting. So environment's so powerful. The last example I'll give you for environment is, imagine you wake up every single day beside someone who's like, you can't do this, you're not good enough, you suck, right? That's going to beat you up. But here's the thing is that it doesn't have to be another person. It can be yourself doing that to yourself. How you treat yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's you and you. When everybody else is in bed and you're sitting there, it's just you and your mind. So it's another piece of it as well. Okay. Again, unrealistic expectations. And lastly, as well, is how you represent yourself. We all feel good when there's a wedding we got to go to and you get to dress up and feel right good, right? Feel pretty, feel confident, whatever you want to say. I know I love it. Like it feels great. You get to dress up, right? So this is super good, super important is how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of yourself, right? Your self-care routines, the routines that you have for yourself, those are all confidence builders because it's a resemblance of, hey, this is who I am. This is my identity. I'm someone who takes care of myself. I feel good about myself. I want to do this for myself because I know how good it makes me feel, right? So posture is another one. So when I was on my journey of building confidence, one of the first things I focused on was fake it until you make it. And the first thing I focused on was posture, right? Shoulders back, chest out, chin not too high, but just high enough. You want to make sure that you come off that way. You guys ever hear about the Superman pose? If not, write this down and do this after class. The Superman pose is basically you go into the mirror and you literally stand like Superman would. So chest out, right? Confident posture like Superman, Superwoman. I want you to do this in the mirror after the master class. You can do it right now if you want. But you'll notice when you do this for over about a minute or two, you will literally start to feel it. You will feel so good. It's so interesting how it works. It's almost like when you think of smiling, you almost want to smile. So powerful. So powerful. So posture, self-care, routine, habits, these are all things that can either build your confidence or not build your confidence. I know for me, if when I used to have sluggish patterns and habits of, not cleaning up my environment and stuff, and I would come home and I would look at my environment, it didn't make me feel confident. It didn't make me feel good. So let's move on. Okay. And when you think of posture, just keep it as easy as possible. Try to think of how can I look expansive and not collapsed. Okay. Collapse is more you're going inwards. You don't feel good. You're trying to hide away. Right? Confidence is uncomfortable, is safe, expansive, opening up. Right? You ever see someone, sometimes when people are like this, and mind you, sometimes that's just natural posture. Sometimes that it almost feels closed off, rather than it's like, hey, how you doing? Right? You guys come to class today. Do you think you would want to listen to me if I'm talking like this, closed down? Hey, like we're going to talk about confidence today. No, right? You can feel it. You can feel out the posture. So it all matters. So the next question is then is why don't we do these things already? Why don't we stick to our promises? Right? Is it laziness? Is it not? Why do we stick around these negative people that put us down? Why do we keep giving up on ourselves? Why is our posture like that? It comes down to our core beliefs. And here's where we're going to get real funky. So just think for a second, right? To somebody who truly believes in themselves and they know what they want, do they ever give up on what they want? No, they don't. So if we do, it just means that there's some sort of other limiting belief in the place of believing in ourselves. Because at the end of the day, you get the choice, right? You either believe in yourself or you don't. So if we don't, it's tied into some limiting programming that is not aligned with who we want to be and where we want to go. And it's actually rooted in nothing, which we'll uncover today. So breaking this down, okay? This is going to be some really good stuff. This is where you really want to pay attention. So, on the external, so let's say external is your life, right? You have these things going on in your external world that you're not preferring. You're not happy with your career, maybe. You get pushed around by your boss or something like that. Maybe you don't leave your comfort zone. You struggle with your way. You're not feeling confident enough to change it or take those new actions. Maybe you have a hard time meeting new people. It's like, why is no one attracted to me? Okay, so we have all this external stuff, and we're wondering, why is this stuff happening, right? I don't like this. Like, why? But what we often forget to do is check in the internal. And this is what I call is what is your dominant state of being? Because I believe in what I've seen in my life, and we could talk about the science behind this, but I truly believe the internal creates the external. So if you have and I'll actually share with you the science behind that today. But if you have a core inner belief of I'm not good enough, well, someone who doesn't believe they're good enough, how do they act and show up in the world? I'm not good enough, so I probably won't try that thing, right? I'm not good enough, so I probably won't talk to that person, respond back, go on the date. I probably won't go to the gym, whatever it may be. I just had a call just this morning with a client who was literally dealing with this of it's not good enough. And we uncovered patterns that were popping up in her life of procrastination, distraction, and not getting her workouts done. And it all came back to the root belief of no matter what I do, I can't change. And once we uncovered that limiting belief, this was a couple weeks ago, she still acted this way. So we uncovered the next limiting belief, which is I'm not good enough. But you can see how that can produce and show up in our lives. It makes more sense of why we act the way we do when we understand where it's coming from. Okay? So physics proves this as well. Like attracts like, right? Law of attraction. Like attracts like. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, right? Everything vibrates, everything at a certain frequency. It naturally attracts itself, right? You just like taking action as well. You take a positive action, you put in a positive result. So, did you know that humans have a certain set frequency? So we have a certain set frequency that we're attuned to. So our higher states, ascension, we call it, the higher states of our frequency is authenticity, it's love, it's joy. So imagine if your internal state was unconditional love, acceptance of all. You've gotten yourself to a place where you do not judge, you love all for exactly the way it is, and you accept it for the way it is. Holy smokes. Imagine living off that frequency, how good that would feel. But yet, what a lot of our dominant frequencies are is more so in the lower states. And mind you, team, this is not a time to judge yourself or beat yourself up. This is about growth. This is why you all are here, because you all have an open mind, because you want to grow and change. So a lot of us, what we do is though, is we live in survival mode. We're just trying to get by. We live in fear, doubt, shame, guilt. And that's our dominant states of being. So again, like we talked about before, when I got you to do that affirmation of, I want to go this way, right? Taking care of myself, self-love, the confidence, it all feels good. I want to go up. But if our internal state is shame, I want to hide, I'm hiding away, that's how I'm acting, or guilt, I don't feel confident, or fear, I feel scared, even if we want to go up, that resistance is pulling us down. And it helps us realize, what are we actually tracking into our lives? So, moving onwards, okay? So how does this all really work? This is where we're going to get even deeper, okay? Even deeper. And I would love to hear any shares in the chat. What's hitting right now? What's popping up? Getting excited? How you feeling? But let's dive into how. How, okay? Well, let's talk about what gets the results in our lives, right? What gets us at the weight that we're at? What gets us the body, the strength? It's our actions, right? Every action produces a result. So what gives you the results in your life is your past actions. And remember this is that life is 10% of what happens and 90% of how you react to it moving forwards. You can always find an amazing success story of someone who has a similar story as you. And I'm telling you, you want to hold on to those stories. So questions that might be popping up though is like, what if I have low confidence because I wasn't popping in school? I got bullied, or I was never really athletic, or I'm not an extrovert, or whatever it may be. Right? So the point, does that mean every person who went through that ended up as not confident? No, it's not true. So if actions give results, what fuels our actions? Well, science shows that our deep rooted beliefs shape how we see and function in the world. For example, if someone believes I am not athletic, their brain will quite literally actually filter out, okay, or filter in opportunities to exercise through that lens. So, what that means is that they won't even see themselves as the type of person to go to the gym. So they won't even think about starting the gym or anything like that because they don't see themselves as that type of person. That's how powerful the brain is. It filters out what it doesn't need and only focuses on what it does to confirm its bias. Because the brain doesn't want to be proven wrong, guys. Because the brain, the way our kind of brain is designed, is just safety and security. It wants you to survive. So it wants you to do the same things over and over again. keep feeling, thinking, acting, believing the same way. Even if it doesn't logically make sense, like, why would I still do those things if I know it's not healthy for me, though? Brain doesn't care about that. Brain only thinks what's safe and secure, which means what's known, the patterns, our past history, stuff like that. So, neuroscience also shows that consistent thoughts plus emotions held together, okay, and repeated will form new neural pathways that influence your future choices. So, an example, if you keep saying, I'm a shy person, and you start to feel it, what do you think you're going to do? Eventually, when opportunities come up, you're not really going to want to speak. Why? Because I'm a shy person. And the more and more we feed that story, the more and more we stay shy and be more shy. And we start to lose those social skills to do that stuff. So we actually create that reality. So here's a side note, and we'll dive into this here in a second, is remember that you are the author of your life and not the book. The book right now might be saying, I'm a low confident person. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I've always struggled with my health. It runs in my family. I will always be this way. But remember, that's just the book right now. You're the author. That's just a chapter. Okay, we can close that book and write a brand new one. And that's my biggest thing that I want to help you all realize and absorb today is that right there. So here's the entire formula team on how this all works. Okay, so the entire formula works as so. Your core internal beliefs that you have, okay, they actually are producing the thoughts that you have. So your core beliefs produces the thoughts that you have about yourself or life or whatever. Your thought held for 7 seconds or so will actually produce an emotion. Remember, thought and emotion over time creates an identity. So your thought creates the emotions that you feel. Your emotions, like it or not, they do influence over time how you take action. If I feel excited and motivated and energized, I'm going to go want to move my body. If I'm feeling sad and bad and not good, I'm going to want to sit on the couch and relax, right? So your emotions do influence how you show up and take action. And the actions, as we know, produce the results in our lives. And then what that does is that reinforces that same old core belief system. See, I told you I'm not confident, right? So here's an example. Let's say the core belief is I am not enough. I am not enough. All right. So the core belief is I am not enough. Now, how does that produce into our day-to-day lives? I'm not smart. Okay, so these are the thoughts that you might have about yourself. I'm not smart. I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not strong enough. Why bother? I'll fail anyways. Right? I always have. We wouldn't think that way if we truly believe that we are enough. Right? So that's the core belief. It's producing the thoughts. Then the thoughts will eventually create an emotion, right? Or cause us to feel the emotion. How does it make you feel when somebody else says that to you, that you're not smart enough, you're not attractive enough, whatever it may be? It doesn't make you feel good. Same thing for yourself. So I'm not smart enough. I'm not, all these things start to produce the emotion. I'm sad. I'm feeling low confidence now, right? I feel low self-esteem. I don't have any motivation or drive. And then how does that emotion influence how you then end up taking action over time? Is maybe there's no action at all. Maybe we miss the opportunities. Maybe we just give up easily every time we hit that roadblock, or we just barely even try. And then the results that pop up in our lives over time, over and over again, is no changes really happen. No results. Nothing sticks. We're still stuck. Even if we are able to willpower, and this is what I hate. I hate this about just putting out a diet plan or a pill or these quick fixes and these cookie cutter plans when people genuinely need help change. It's that you can willpower your way through and follow that for so long, but eventually you're going to return back to that homeostasis, that core belief, because that's just how we function, right? So maybe you experience this in your lives when you try a diet, you try a program, but you didn't do the inner work, or nobody talked about it or shared this with you. And then over time, you just always played the blame game. It's my fault. Why? I'm just not good enough. These other people are doing it, seems like, but why can't I change? Why am I still here stuck? Well, this makes sense, right? This makes sense now of why that could be happening. So, what this means, this is the exciting part. Okay. So, everybody get excited, get the Superman pose going. Okay. What this means is that you are the creator of your life experience. Okay. You are the author and not the book. And you can stop playing the story of I am not a confident person. So remember this is that you are the sky and this low confidence, these struggles you're dealing with in the mind that's not making you feel good. It's these clouds. Okay. It's these clouds that we get sucked into. And sometimes these clouds, the storm sticks around so long that we forget that we're the sky. And we start to identify deeply with the cloud. And that's where we will almost start to defend the cloud. Because what happens then is that our identity gets so caught up into it that we don't want to change the story. And that's another conversation about how our ego works. But it's all about protecting ourselves, keeping safe and secure. So, whatever the brain story that's been playing throughout your life, it wants to keep playing. So, sometimes you'll even notice resistance will pop up, even though you don't even want to stay that way in certain areas of your life. You'll notice that things will pop up that will try to sell ourselves on why we're not confident, why we can't change all these things, even though we don't even want it. That will pop up in our lives. But it's all just to stay the same because the brain fears change. Because change means unknown, and unknown means not safe and secure. And the brain's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I do not care. Okay. I want safe and secure. But we got to realize that that's all an illusion. Okay. That fear is not actually, unless it's a physical bear running after you, it's an illusion. Right. So that's what I call creator energy is the confidence, the abundance, the joy. Being able to look at yourself from the observer lens, taking a step back and saying, hey, I am not these thoughts of myself. I'm the one observing these thoughts, right? I realize now I get caught up in the story that I tell myself and I feel this way and this is how I act in my life, but I'm actually not that. I'm actually the one that's like literally looking at it right now and observing it. Y'all see what I'm saying? Let me hear in the chat a yes if this is hitting, if this is clicking, if y'all are getting what I'm putting out on the table. Let me hear a yes, yes, yes if this is hitting. Kelly is all in. Yes, let's go. Michelle, let's freaking go. Tafera, yes. Samson, whoever Samson SM is, yes. I'd love to see you change the name to your real name. Heather, yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. Victoria, yes. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go, team. This is it. This is it right here. So now that this is clicking, now that we're realizing that, okay, yeah, maybe I am dealing with this stuff and it's not making me feel good, but I really see now that I actually am the observer. I'm not this story that I've been telling myself and stuck in. I actually can change it. Holy smokes, I'm freaking pumped up right now. I know when after spending all this time researching and diving into this stuff and studying neuroscience and the brain, quantum, like all that stuff, when I discovered this, I felt like a kid in Candyland because I love the idea of chasing our dreams and going out and becoming our best selves and living our greatest lives. And this here is a massive piece of that. Because again, we can't do that if we don't have that self belief and that mindset. So I'm so happy to see that this is clicking for y'all. So what now? Y'all get your books out, get your pen and paper out. Let's freaking do this. This is a workshop time. Okay. Where do we start? We start right here. Let's level up your identity. I promised you as you came into this chat today with me, this masterclass, that you were going to leave with much more confidence. Let's make that happen right freaking now. Live workshop time. You can put in the chat if you have a question, if you're boggled up with something, resistance is popping up, right? Put in the chat. I'll help you out in live time. Rewire and rise. That's the theme. Rewire and rise. Okay, this is only for the courageous ones, by the way. So I just want to say I have so much respect for every single one of you here. I automatically love y'all. And I think we would probably be great best friends in real life because you all are here. And I love open-minded people who want to grow and who are courageous because it does take courage to face yourself, right? Because it can seem scary or uncomfortable, that hidden stuff. But I will promise you that on the other side of it, you will realize that it was tied to nothing and that you are okay and you can heal and you can keep rising. So step number one, okay, is let's creating your new identity. So this is what I want you all to do is I want you to write on a piece of paper this cross. Okay. So I want you to draw this out. Line down the middle, line at the top, or a horizontal line as well, going across like a cross. And then I want you to put on the left side, current me, and I want you to put on the right side, dream me. Okay, dream me as in who we want to become. Current me is who I am right now. And I want you to just check in with yourself. So how you kind of check in yourself is just get in tune with your body. Okay, because it's usually you can find your dominant emotional state based off kind of like your nervous system, honestly. So how you do that is I would just want you all to just relax. So if you have distractions, or maybe I just want you to relax, get in tune with your breathing, be present here with me, and just check in with yourself. Internal in your heart, not your chest. Go in, okay? In your heart, in your deep, deep core. What is that dominant state? Is it sad? Is it stress? Is it guilt, shame, grief, fear, excitement, happiness? Don't just do it based off what you're feeling right now, by the way, because it was probably excitement. I want the overall dominant state, okay? The current state that you've been in your life. And if you don't know what that is, just think of when you're trying to hit your goals and it's not working out, how does that make you feel overall? Right? Think of your top goals and focuses and what you want. And what does that feel like and how it's not working out right now? Because I know for me, with my main big goals and dreams in my life, and I'm going for them, it has a big connection to that, my dominant state. So, current me, what is that current negative feeling or overall dominant state? Okay. Next, number two is I want you to write down what are 1 to 3 unaligned actions I'm taking in my life right now that do not serve who I want to be. Maybe it's you're sleeping in. Maybe you're not meal prepping. Maybe you're only getting 2 workouts a week instead of 3. Maybe you're not pushing the extra reps in your workouts. Maybe you've been distracting yourself from something that you want, you know you got to face in order to heal and rise. Maybe there's something that's been on your mind weighing heavy on you that you're not facing right now. Just write out what is the current unaligned actions that I've been taking in my life right now. Remember, there's no judgment right now. You're stepping into observer mode, right? You're stepping outside of the story as the author and you're looking in at the situation. Okay, and what is the current results? So what are the things in your life right now that you do not prefer? Maybe it's a body weight, a goal, belly fat, maybe it's strength, confidence, whatever it may be. Maybe certain fears that you're scared of. Anything like that. Write that down on the left side. And can I get a yes in the chat when y'all are done that? Put a yes in the chat when that's done, and then we'll paint the dreamy. Kelly's yes, awesome. I need at least 3 more yeses, 2 to 3 more yeses, and then we'll move on to Farah. Yes, let's go. Awesome. At least 1 more, and we'll start painting Dream Me. Heather, yes, awesome. Let's go. On the right side of the page, I want you to put, again, Dream Me, and I want you to describe what their state of being is. So here's how you do this, by the way, okay? Is just, if you can't, so here's, some of you are very good with visualization. So you can quite literally visualize yourself. Maybe it's a certain weight, a certain gene size you're in. Maybe it's you're in a certain place, workplace, environment, situation. If you can't see it with your mind, Feel it. Feel it. And what I mean by that is, okay, I don't know what it looks like, but I know what it feels like. I know what I do want. Because you know what you don't want, so you do know what you do want. I know I don't want to struggle with my health, and that makes me feel uneasy and scared. So what would it feel like to have the opposite? Oh, I feel free. I would feel like complete freedom. I wouldn't worry. So that means I'd have trust, right? So I want you to just write that out. What is their state of being? And the next thing I want you to do is I want you to write out, how are they showing up in the world? What different actions are they taking in their lives? And it can be the smallest thing. It can be self-talk in the morning. It can be the smallest thing. Remember, just a side note, your logical mind, the old story, will try to tap in sometimes and make you overthink and stuff. Tap into your heart. Okay, that's how we kind of block out that. But get that down there, the dream me, the state, the action, and the result as well. All right. Remember what we talked about at the start is you got to be intentional, very clear, very focused and dialed in, right? Where your focus goes is all your energy flows as well. So, and feel free to put it in the chat as well. So Kelly put strong positive affirmations daily. Yes, great example. Great example. Can I get a yes in the chat? A yes in the chat if y'all are done with these action steps here. Current me and dream me. Please put yes in the chat. Victoria is on it. Yes, let's go. Heather, yes, let's go. Safira, yes, let's go. Awesome. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. That's right. You know it, Kelly. Kelly she actually works with me now with one of the clients as well. And she's a wizard with her inner work. You'll just see her crushing it. Down 60 plus pounds, making unbelievable changes. Samson, I'd love to see you change your name still. Samson said yes. Awesome. Let's go. Perfect. Beautiful. So step number 2 is the gap. Okay. The gap is, let me see if I can draw. The gap is this right here. All right. So I think I always thought it like this, guys, is there is the caterpillar phase. Okay. There's a caterpillar phase. There's the cocoon phase. There's the butterfly phase. Butterfly phase, the dream me. Okay. Caterpillar phase is just where I'm at right now. Cocoon phase is that unknown. It's the gap. Right. So Heather put dream cell, consistent, small, consistent actions. Let's go. So step number 2 then. Step number 2 is the gap. So number 1, I gotta write this down. What is one consistent feeling you have or thought you have about yourself that does not align with who or how you want to be and feel? So we kind of already did that, but if you haven't done that, write that down. What is one consistent feeling you have or thought that you have about yourself that does not align with who or how you want to be and feel? I'm not good enough. I'm ugly. I'm too this or that. I'm too weak, whatever it may be, right? These thoughts. Write those down. Example, right there. Number 2 is write out as best as possible the formula based on you now. So the belief, the thought, the feeling, the action, the results. So here's what that would look like. We'll do this together. So belief, the thought, the feeling, the action, the result. I want you to write out what you've been getting now. Try to fill in where you can. Okay. Odds are you probably won't be able to find the belief yet, but I'll help you do that after. But you can find the thought, right? Let's see here. I'm never consistent. Feel low self-esteem. Action, skips workouts, distracts self. Result, gaining weight, not feeling good, not feeling good. See what I mean there? So go through this yourself. I want you to just write down the belief, the thought, the feeling, the action, the result, and try to fill in the blanks wherever you can. So maybe you only know the feeling right now. right? Maybe you're only knowing the thoughts that you're having about yourself. Just try to feel this out wherever you can. Okay, so that's number two. I don't want to jump ahead. So anybody, if you need extra time, please put in the chat, wait, and I will wait. I'm in no rush. Number three. Number three is a simple practice to find your core limiting beliefs. Okay, so this is what you want to do. All right. So this is going to be this is what I'm looking for you to come up with. I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm looking for you to come up with a statement, not a story, a statement. Okay, oftentimes we'll come up with a story, a statement. So let's say you have a thought, right? I'm never consistent is your thoughts, or I'm not good enough, or whatever it may be. The question is what must you believe about yourself in order for you to be thinking that way? If you have a feeling, so let's say you feel sad or scared, or maybe as your dominant state, what must you believe to be true? What must you believe to be true about yourself or the world or the situation in order for you to be feeling that way right now? If it's an action, what must you believe to be true, or what must you be scared of in order to act the way you're acting if you aligned with where you want to go? Can I get a yes if y'all are getting this? If a statement is coming up, the statement would be something like this. For example, the statement would be, okay, so let's say example, I feel low confidence, it makes me sad. What must I believe to be true in order to feel this way? I have to believe that I am not good enough. Okay, that's the statement. All right, so can I get a yes? A yes in the chat. And if it hasn't yet, no worries, put in the chat and we can work through it together. I got to change my headphones real quick. My headphones died. Heather said yes. I think she just had a breakthrough with the excitement. Kelly said yes. Wait, sorry. I think we're getting... No, we're good. So Farah said yes. Heather, Krista, yes. Victoria, yes. All right. Amazing. Beautiful. Beautiful. Where's Samson? Is Samson still here? Did they change the name? So really good. Really good. So everybody got it. Awesome. Okay. So moving down to number 4. That is Krista. Oh, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Welcome, Krista. So moving down to number 4 then. Number 4 is let's shift this. Okay? Because this is where I want you to really pay attention. You find this core limiting belief, right? Maybe it's, I'm not good enough. I'm whatever. I'm scared of this. Let me ask you this right now. Is that universally true? That you're not good enough, wherever it may be? And what I mean by universally true is that, does every single person in the world agree upon that? When you were born and the doctors and your parents were looking down at you, did everybody say, this little baby here is not good enough? This little baby here is whatever your statement is. No. Right? No. So what that means is that it's not universally true. When I say universally true, is that means that this belief that we have about ourselves is rooted in nothing. What happened is somewhere down the line in your life, someone, something, life events, doesn't matter, something programmed into you, a limitation, a limiting belief, or a fear that's not actually real. It's not aligned with your best self. It's tied into some sort of fear or limitation, which is rooted in nothing. So, what must be true? The opposite. I'm not good enough? That's not universally true. So what must be true? What's expansive? What puts you back in that flow? I am good enough. I am who I am, and I am good enough, right? So that's the shift. So number 4 is we want to make the shift.
So number one, is it universally true? Realize that is not universally true. Right? It's some sort of program or whatever it may be that was put into us. So then we need to rewire and decide. So I want you to put down in the chat what must be true about yourself. If that limiting belief isn't true, or that fear, what must be true? Put it in the chat. I want to hear at least 3 or 4 of them. What must be true? Don't think too hard. Allow it to flow. Remember, when we think too hard, it's sometimes we get caught back in that old story. Feel it. Let it flow. What must be true? Put in the chat. Kelly, I'm not afraid of sharks. I love it. I love it. I love it. Krista, I am enough. Beautiful. Victoria, I can do what I put my mind to. There we go. Heather, I am worthy. Let's go. Let's go. So Kelly, maybe yours is I am safe. Right? What does it mean to not be afraid? It means I'm safe. Super good. I'm not afraid. I love that. I love it. I am worthy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Put in the chat what must be true. And now, this is the biggest thing, is you got to rewire and you to decide. Okay, so this is what I want you to do next, is I want you to write down 3 pieces of evidence for me. You got to prove it to me now. Right? You say you're worthy, you say you're not afraid of sharks, you're safe. You got to prove it. Okay, because think of this. You've been living your entire life, for however long it may be, with that limiting belief. Like water dripping on a rock, the longer it goes, the more ingrained it becomes. So you got to write this down, 3 pieces of evidence, prove it to yourself right now, why you are good enough, why you are safe, why you are worthy. Find it in your life. Remember, now we're forcing that brain to look through a new lens. Because before we were always looking on all the reasons of why we weren't worthy, and that's why it was always coming up in our lives, and all that crap is happening. So now we're shifting gears. So example on lens, changing your lens on life is your perspective, right? You ever see that image where like the person's doing like the peace sign or something like that, and it looks like it looks like I'm flipping someone off, but if you turn angles, I'm doing the peace sign. Pretty freaking cool. So please write down 3 once you're done writing the 3 pieces of evidence for this new empowering belief. Write down the chat 3. Yes, Tefera, I'm doing the best I can. Right? I am strong enough to make it through these hard times. I am worthy enough. I am good enough to go through this. Whatever it may be. So write down 3 pieces of evidence for this new empowering belief and write in the chat 3 when you're done. Toria's on it. Let's go. Awesome. Let's see 3 more. 3 more 3s. 3, 3, 3. Tefera's done. Let's go. Awesome. We need 1 or 2 more. Heather is on it. Let's go. 1 more. 1 more. So Marianne, Michelle, someone, Kelly. Awesome. Very good. Very, very good. So now you just got to decide. Are you going to decide to keep living off that old programming, which you know is not even true anymore, and keep being that way? Or are you going to decide to step into who you actually are? And how you do this, and we'll talk about some 3 action steps actually moving forwards on how you can keep ingraining this, guys, so this doesn't go away. Because it will take conscious integration, because if not, we go back to that subconscious mind, the old story, right? So it takes conscious effort. But why wouldn't we want to, right? Why wouldn't we want to feel confident and amazing? Do that inner work and that little bit of work every day. So going back up, team, going back up on how powerful this is. Let's say the example now is I am enough. I am worthy. How do you think you're going to start thinking over time once you've rewired your identity through consistent thought and emotion practice over and over and over again, right? And changing those limiting beliefs. How do you think you're gonna think, feel, and act and get results now in your life? So let's say I am worthy, and let's say you believe that. What are you going to start thinking? Gosh, I'm good at what I do. I'm someone who stays pretty consistent. I actually love taking care of myself. I love the feeling of working out. It just aligns with who I am. Then you're going to feel it, right? Oh, I feel self-respect. I feel self-respect for myself. I feel self-love because I am worthy. I'm worth something. And then how are you going to act then? If you're not worthy, you might skip those workouts. You might put yourself on the back burner every time something pops up. But when you are worthy, how are you going to show up and act then? You're going to put your standards, right? You're going to make sure that you keep that self-respect. You're not going to stab yourself in the back. Because someone who has all that will not do that to themselves majority of the time. We all get into ruts and bumps. That's part of the life. But overall, that dominant state of being will be there. And that is going to, over time, what most people have the hardest thing doing is trusting in the unknown, right? Which is what the CH family is here for. Trusting that unknown, that guidance. But when you do, and you take those actions, you get different results in your life, and that reinforces that new belief system. Can I get an amen? Let's go. So powerful, team. So powerful. So, moving back down. Amen. Let's go, Victoria. Awesome. Kelly, I belong in the CH community. I am support. I am love. I am worthy. Therefore, I'm safe. Let's go. So we're on Shift It. We're on Rewire and Decide. Now let's go through 3 actions that you can take away today to keep this rolling forwards, to keep transforming yourselves. And please, if there's something confusing y'all, put in the chat. This is exactly what I'm here for. This is what I do. This is what I'm here for. So there's something confusing. If you feel lost or stuck with a limitation or a belief or something's not clicking, let me know. Okay? And we'll work through this together. And if you do carry on your life and you practice this and you notice not much is changing, it's probably because they're still rooted. You're still taking those, even though you realize now that those actions are rooted in nothing true. And if you still show up and act that way, because a habit is only a habit until it's realized, right? And then it becomes a decision to keep acting that way. So then we have to recognize what must I believe to be true in order to act this way? And usually it'll come down to the brain has some sort of belief that that's the best way forwards for you. That's the safest path forwards. And then we just can change that. And then we'll no longer want to act that way. It's quite beautiful when we can really practice and master this, because everything else, you will not feel like you're trying to willpower your way there anymore. It will feel like flow, like drinking water and brushing your teeth in the morning. What's that? It's a habit, right? How did the brushing your teeth become a habit? Because your parents said, hey, you got to freaking brush your teeth or I'm going to put soap in your mouth before you go to school or bed, right? So it became a habit, automatic. And then now you probably got nice teeth. So step number 3, actions. Is your 3 actions moving forwards is number 1, daily, morning, or evening journaling of your new identity and self with 5 to 10 plus minutes of meditating on the consistent new thoughts plus feelings of your new empowered self. So the reason why you want to do this, guys, is number 1, you set the tone for your day when you do the morning work. You affirm who you are, how you're going to act, how you're going to be and feel. When you do the meditation, it literally, neuroscience proves this, it's literally going to rewire your identity. A way that you can do this is first 5 minutes is focused on getting present. Become the observer. You got to first get into the observer mode, right? Because if not, your thoughts are going to run the show. Your mind's going to feel like you have ADHD. You're going to chase all these thoughts and you're like, I can't freaking do this meditation. I suck at it. It's a skill, right? It's a skill. So first little bit, focus on getting in the present moment where you notice that, okay, I'm not my thoughts. These thoughts are happening. I'm not chasing them anymore. I'm in the present stillness. And if you can't do that, just keep practicing that until you get there. And then the next thing that you want to do, once you're in that stillness, then thought and the feeling. Start having those empowering thoughts going over and over and over in your mind of who you actually want to be. And I want you to feel it. Imagine there's a waterfall of that emotion, that state of being that you want to be in, what we just did, pouring all over you, going into every single cell, and you're feeling it. Because did you guys know that the brain cannot, I know the clients know this, but did you know that your brain doesn't know if you're imagining something or if you're experiencing in real time? So what do a lot of us do? We wake up and we start thinking about our same problems over and over again. We have about 80 to 90% of the same thoughts every single day. And we wonder why we're stuck and we stay the same. It makes sense when we understand how it all works. And that's what's so exciting, so beautiful, because we realize that we don't need to be caught up in that program anymore. I know for myself, I did this work and I'm literally a new person. And I've done it multiple times and shedded many, many old identities. And every time it's helped me become better and just feel better about myself. Because 9 years ago, if you would have saw me, you would never know me. I was the exact opposite. You know, I was the type of person who took me 2 years to get consistent in the gym. I didn't take care of my health. I looked at people who worked out like, you're wasting your time. I'd rather be playing video games or watching TV, eating grilled cheese and s'more sandwiches and muffins and chocolate milk, which I literally did, and not go work out. I thought it was pointless. And then I felt crappy about myself. I had no confidence. I hated the way I looked in clothing. And I go to bed and I overeat and I wake up almost sick every single morning. And I was so insecure. But when I really faced myself and I rose and I made those change, everything changed. So I'm so excited for y'all. So that's action number 1. Action number 2 is conscious action. So conscious action, as in you want to shift the programming by staying conscious of your work. So an easy way to do this is daily reminders. So reminders on your phone that pop up. Maybe you have a page on your mirror in your bathroom or on your table when you get up. Some sort of daily check-ins, and overall just acting on them, right? The posture, the self-talk, that way you take action in life. Take the actions that are going to feed and fuel who you want to be and not who you've been. Right? Insanity is taking the same action over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. So you want to build I always screw this word up, self-efficacy, okay? Self-efficacy, basically self-trust, self-reliance. And you grow that by doing it, right? So if you can't promise yourself that you're going to lose 20 pounds, well, promise yourself that you're going to lose 1 pound. Promise yourself that you're going to do the actions it requires to lose that 1 pound, which means mindful of my food. I'm going to eat protein 1 palm every single meal. I'm going to fast and have time restrictions. I'm going to move my body 30 minutes a day. Whatever you can do and build off that, right? Stay in your own lane, focus on you. We don't want to play the comparison game. And the third one is patience and trust. Okay, patience and trust, and move through the resistance. Keep your body feeling safe by staying grounded, present, and proper breathing. Because here's what we also got to do, which I didn't talk about today, but you have to tune in your nervous system. So you basically have to rewire the mind, the beliefs, right? And then you got to get your body on track with it as well, so it feels safe with it. Okay. And this pops up in multiple areas of your life. But for example, sometimes, if you've ever lost weight before and you notice you self-sabotage and went backwards, sometimes it's because we didn't change that internal wiring, right? The nervous system, we didn't feel safe. So we unconsciously self-sabotaged. And that can show up in many different ways: procrastination, distractions, getting comfortable, losing focus, start slacking off a little bit. Those are all signs and symptoms of underlying core limiting beliefs. Can I go into proper breathing a little? Yeah. So think of breathing as, great question. Think of breathing as your mind-body connector. All right. You ever get caught up in your head? Anxiety, we've all had it. Or overthinking, right? Your breath is the way back down. Your breath is the way back down. So for example, if you ever caught up in your head, you're getting caught up in that old story of yourself, do this. Do a grounding exercise. You want to just focus on, breathe into your nose, right? A lot of us are mouth breathers. We don't want to do that. We want to breathe into our nose, and you want to fill the bottom of your stomach first. Okay. And that way, because if you're a chest breather, it's, first of all, it's not overall good for your body and your back and stuff, but also it can induce anxiety. It's not helpful. So I would say you just want to just think of your breath as getting into a rhythm. That's it, right? It's almost like, you know how you get hypnotized, like it's a rhythm. Do that with your breath. So maybe it's like box breathing, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold. What I usually do is I just focus on my breath and focus in that pattern. And I just focus and just focus and focus and focus on it. Because it's all about just getting into the rhythm. Because what you're doing is you're changing your brain waves, right? You're getting into different states so that way you can access the subconscious mind and then start changing it. So I hope that helped you out there, Kelly. And can I get a, let's see, if you're getting value from this today, can I get a yes in the chat? If this is changing the way how you feel, think, if you're learning something new, if it's getting you excited, let me hear a yes if you're getting some value from this training today, if this is helping you in any way, shape, or form. Yes, awesome. Kelly, yes, wants me to do a visualization. Can you explain what you mean by that, Kelly? Victoria, yes. Michelle, yes. Krista, yes. Let's go, girls. Awesome. Awesome. Let me hear some yeses in the chat. Heather, yes. Awesome. Let's go. I'm so happy to hear that. Oh, okay. I won't do that today, Kelly, but another time. Another time. We'll keep that for the clients or something. Really good though. Really good. Awesome. So happy to hear that. And I want to share this too, team, is that your entire life can change from one decision. It literally can change from one decision. And I know you hear this a lot, but it's true. When you hit a point where you cross that line of sand and you make that decision, that promise to yourself, right? And you fully make that decision, you decide this is what I'm going to be, this is who I'm going to be, this is how I'm going to be. You act, you focus on it, you make it. And I promise you, if you stick with it, you will get there. Like the saying goes, you knock on the door long enough, eventually someone's going to open it up. You hang around the barbershop long enough, eventually you're going to walk in and get a haircut. Your time will come. If you make the decision, this is who I'm going to be in the future, then that's it. And you will become it. You will become it. You can do it. If other people can do it, you 100% can do it as well.